Is your little thing on too?
I'm about to hit that guy. Okay, everything's recorded.
Okay, we're coming into session now at 1:06. We have staff down there. Most of you don't know. We have Katie Bedell and we have Ann Barrett. Everybody knows Terry? Say hello to our new staff here for the moment.
Hello, hello.
This is the continuation of Tuesday, March 25th meeting. It is 1:06 on Thursday, March 27th. Present are John McLaughlin, Diane Coombs, Abby Camp, Linda Williams. David Barham isn't going to be here, but Dawn is coming. She's just going to be a little bit late. And Jason has to work. We do have an audio recording of it, and we do have a TV recording of it. If anybody else would like to tape the meeting, please let me know. Otherwise, take a look at the agenda. Any changes on the agenda, as short as it is? Somebody want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Diane's made a motion to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have anybody have public comment out there? Okay.
My only public comment is I'm number one and I won't get to be heard, so you can, I'll wait till Dawn gets here.
Which is Calhoun? Do you need Dawn, right? Yeah. We're going to skip Calhoun. She needs Dawn. I forgot it was myself. Lisa, who sits on that? Myself?
Abby, you and Dawn, I believe.
Okay. All right, then we'll go right to Henderson. And then there's the hardscaping, which is the pool.
Yep.
Oh, much better.
Do we need to hand out these plans, or just so you have the ones?
This is it.
Yeah, I made 4.
Okay. So,
Who's on this?
so
As of Tuesday.
Everyone here. Jason was on it, but he's not here, so. I was scanning off my bag.
I'll give John one.
Yep.
John.
so on March 4th, it looks like Williams, McLaughlin, Coombs, Leonardo, Finger, and Camp.
Well, we heard it on Tuesday, so everybody sitting at the table is here on Tuesday also.
Yeah,
We just don't have the minutes yet. A lot of this stuff, guys, came from Tuesday, so we wouldn't necessarily have the minutes, but Terry's got it if we have a question. Okay.
Let me pull them up just in case there's a question.
All right, I believe we held it to get a little bit more clarification on some stuff, have you reduce the decking and show what foliage is not going to be removed. I assume that's outside of everything on the green line.
Right. Basically, the clouded areas are the existing vegetation that's not to be removed, to remain.
And you reduce the width of the...
Yeah, down to 10 feet, and brought the whole pool and patio cabana in closer to the house.
But not up in elevation.
No, actually, I
Still
think
down.
we went down.
Down a foot.
Yeah.
And the cabana we'll get to, but you drop the foot out of that,
Correct.
8-9 inches.
Correct.
Okay. Pool is not going to be blue, correct?
I
La.
always love that question, but no, we're planning on it being a dark plaster. I'm not a big fan of
gunite color.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as it's not blue. And that has to be part of the motion, is that it's not the aqua blue. Because we've been able to get pools in places where there's not blue, because you can't see. The blue, you can see. All right, Abby.
No objection.
Okay, Diane. Condition on the plan.
Yeah, the green, your whipty line going down here towards Williams Lane. So, is that a fence or what is that little cookie area?
The clouded green is existing vegetation, and that's basically how it is now.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have a big boat right here. They have 2 boats.
Yeah, they have
got
a
a
bunch
big
of
boat
them.
right there.
Yeah.
So that's going to go. All right. So then I have no objection.
John?
No comment, just nice to meet.
The only
Thank you,
question,
gentlemen, we wanted.
The only question I asked, where's the fence again exactly? Is that the yellow?
Highlighted in the yellow is the
And
fence
what is it? Is it
vegetation,
until it gets to the openings?
and that's where there's a gate.
And it's just flat, right? Okay.
That's
Okay.
And that is in the original drawing.
Yep. Somebody want to make a motion to approve? John's made a motion to approve two things, John. Conditioned on the planting plan, John?
Yes.
And conditioned on the fact that the pool is not to be aqua? All those in favor?
Aye.
Right, thank you very much. These are going back to, yeah, John folded his note. Hold on. Fold it in half.
I do have one up here. I can give it to you.
So Terry, you got that, it was conditioned upon the planting plan and not blue.
Got it.
Okay, and that was unanimous, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty, now we're on to the cabana. This is the cabana, John. And are you okay with those plans that came back in? They don't need to submit other plans to you.
The ones just now?
That planting plan just went
Yeah,
in?
we're fine, we can capture with them, so. Here, thank you.
I think this was the cabana. Thank you.
Cabana.
So Madam Chairman, what do you want him to do for the approval of the staff? Just change, write on the application the color?
No, when it's coming through, I'll write it, so he's gone, he's good to go.
He's going to be good to go.
Yeah, because the
So
planting
it's-
plan's already in, we're just conditioning it on the planting plan.
So it's going to be a straight approval?
Yep. Let me put down the thing. Go for it, guys.
Okay, two issues that you had with this were, one, I'd had a vertical T&G cedar siding to create the two privacy areas and also the section of fence that we have to address. And you requested I change it to shingles, so now you see it as shingles. You also asked that I take that center section up and move it up, which I've also done. One, I want you to think what this looks like with shingles versus the paneling, because in terms of construction, I was basically creating a shower enclosure on one end and a privacy area on the other. So it's a lot simpler construction for me. They both grade a weather. And then the second issue was raising that center section versus this, because it's supposed to be an open air structure where the light can flow through an air. I've got a grill there. I want to let the air flow through there. And I don't know that this, personally, I think this looks better than the one with the center elevated.
And your argument is that this actually creates a wall, whereas that creates more open space.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And it is, for the most part, the other three sides are open when you see that there's just a small 3-foot wide section when you look at it from the pool. It doesn't change the visibility issues or anything like that, but I've got a grill there. I want the air to flow through and not create a wall.
How much height did you take out of it?
We took the height out of it mainly by lowering
The whole thing?
lowering the whole thing. My eave point is at 7'10", so it doesn't close down on the privacy screening. Again, I could change it to a 6-pitch. And
Jacqueline Hart, could you please pick the phone up?
Jacqueline Hart?
that's me.
Oh, Chuck?
Yeah.
Come to the office.
That's a first.
I hope everything's okay.
So, John?
Put on the speakerphone.
Yeah.
Any comments, John?
Yeah, let's get in the Roseanne.
They prefer to that one because it's less wall, more open air. They prefer to do that as opposed to this.
Sorry. Yeah. And also there was the, still shingled, but yeah.
They prefer preferred this one.
That's the old one.
Yes, that's the first one. They prefer that because there's more
fire.
open air, more to see through as opposed to a solid wall.
I have no problem with that one.
One of your clients?
I
John,
think
you're
it's going to
okay.
be too far away to see if it's up or down or
I'm amazed they found it.
inside out. That's the original one.
Are the sides shingles?
Well,
It's open so you can see through it.
the original one had the nice vertical cedar planks, and now I feel like, and Chuck does, that it's making it
Why can't you just do what you had with the
vertical.
roof with
Yeah.
the shingle?
Do we have the
Right.
previous submittal? Yeah. Previous,
I mean,
okay.
have
Yeah,
the
that one.
walls, so that nobody can see it.
I think it was, mainly it was Jason's concern about the shingles.
So they do have a shed on the other side of the driveway, right at the same place.
Right.
All right, this is what they put in before. John,
I've seen it. Thank you.
that's what they wanted you. Do you have a problem with this one?
No.
Okay.
What is that? 100 feet up the lines?
Yeah, we're more than 100 feet in on the property, yes. Is that what you're asking, how far it sits back?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was right out in somebody's
No.
view.
Right.
I don't see that there's that much difference between the tongue and groove and the shingles,
So
really.
you're all right with this tongue and groove?
Yeah.
then? Hand those back then. Hand those back. They never review.
Thank you for doing them up, though.
Right?
We're gonna get that back
Comes
to
this way.
You want this?
I'm gonna
Oh,
Yeah.
I prefer the shingle, but I'll go with what the board prefers.
All right, Diane, you're going to make a motion to approve the original submission.
so moved.
Diane's made a motion to approve the original submission. All those in favor?
Aye.
John, where are you?
Okay.
Abby?
I said yes.
Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Harry, you got that right?
Does that have to be through staff? You haven't-
No, they've already got the files. They've already got
Well,
the
if they don't
files.
have four, we have staff
Yeah.
four.
You did four.
Okay.
Abby.
They're okay. Sorensen, do we have a quorum yet on Sorensen? Mr. Emeritus? We don't, I believe, have a quorum.
Oh, you don't have a
Until Dawn gets here.
Okay.
Okay, so take that back.
Now, if we can have that, we have to wait for Dawn.
We gotta wait for Sorensen, John, we gotta wait for a quorum.
And this is always
Rambo. You've got them with her. Did you bring, are these the new ones?
Yeah, those are the new ones. Yeah, I just gave them to Ann before the meeting started.
Representing the applicant?
Kara Kelly.
With the name?
So I made.
You can do that through staff. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. What'd you
So
do?
I made the changes that you requested. I made the side lights 2 inches smaller on either side. I brought up the panel 1 light, made the side lights 3 lights rather than 4 lights. I got rid of the little shed roof over top of the downstairs entry into the basement. I made window H smaller so that it matches the top sash of the double hungs. And I brought in the railing as per your request.
That shows the cedar gables, and then you also showed that you have a cedar wall over the front of that staircase.
Yeah, I finally got the line type correct on there, so. And put a note in case that was confusing in any way.
Is this the right board, guys?
Yes.
Everybody?
I'm not sure
Okay.
about Abby, but is
No,
she?
she was an alternate. That's what
Okay.
she said.
All right, John's folding up already. Diane,
Yep.
folding up already.
Thank you.
You're very
Exactly what
welcome.
we asked for.
Looks good.
The only thing, I can't quite tell, it's sort of maybe an optical illusion, those sort of have to track the B windows panes. See, they're
The side
bigger?
lights of the door?
Yeah.
But the that door is really set back further. It's not even in the
Tony,
same
this
plane
is
as
a
the,
future reference.
Okay.
They're usually narrow, and their panes usually sort of track the largest window in the building. So they're vertical and not squares. They're just,
you think that the
just
side light
vertical.
doors are squarish?
But they're just 1 inch over, so they'll
I'll
go
throw
for now.
another
They'll go
line
for
in
now.
there.
We'll go for now. We'll just
Okay.
make sure that in the future they go this way. All right, somebody want to make a motion to approve?
Yes.
John's made a motion to approve. All those in favor? It was unanimous. Thank you for working with the board.
Thank you.
Steve Cohen Trust, I'm not sure we ever really resolved it, Steve, before he left. He wasn't getting an answer out of the owners quick enough last night. Yeah. Because we were going back and forth. He knows what he had to do, but he didn't have the approval of the owners.
Well, he's submitted revised plans.
And they weren't right, so.
Well, they weren't right as a subjective determination.
Wasn't what we asked for,
Okay,
okay? You
Well-
weren't here then.
I was not, but they were what Ethan
It's gone
heard.
that way. Yeah, but he and I were talking at 10 o'clock last night.
Right.
And things have changed since then. So I don't know if he was able to get the drawings fixed.
Those are from the 13th.
He knew what he was going to do, but he couldn't get a hold of the owners.
Right. I mean, I talked to him last night at about 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
If-
we were
if-
still going after that.
The problem that we're having here is that we keep doing what the ACC asked for, and then when we come in,
He didn't do what the ACC asked for. That was the problem. And he's still not. Didn't do what the ACC asked for.
well,
This is wrong.
so what gets this approved?
Not this. He was closer to the last iteration last time. But this isn't it.
And what's wrong with it? Because, you know, we need to discuss
We
that in the
didn't run
record.
this the way we're supposed to.
Great, but I'm going to explain to you where it had ended up. We'd asked for changes made because the door, the right-hand kitchen, the thing to the left, bisected the gable. And the windows are too low. They're below where the returns are, which isn't normal. These are the returns are usually lower, Steve. The
Yeah.
windows are, you know, above it or even with it.
Mhm.
They're coming down too low, or it's coming up too high. And we said that we didn't want a 50-foot unbroken situation going across the front, and that's what we have. What the last is, and there was no break here. The gambrel has to break. This is what we've said all along. Where the problem occurred, for everybody go back several designs, where the problem occurred is that he had this broken, he had the right-hand kitchen coming forward, and the door was recessed in a tunnel, which isn't going to happen.
Right.
So then he brought this out, cut off half of that, brought that out, and made it all one plane, which we said, no. The gambrel still has to be called out. No gambrel runs on like that. The gambrel has to be called out, and the door and the kitchen have to be set back. That's where we left it last night. That's where he was taking it. But he hadn't gotten a hold of them yet. That would get an approval because he's done everything else.
Right. Well,
So that's the problem.
making the returns on the roof and the windows line up, I think, is pretty.
It's just a matter of-
Right. I think that proportion is
He can
easy to
fix that.
deal with. Getting a break between the front plane of the gambrel and the front plane of the door in the kitchen. How much of a break? Because if we're talking about pushing it back 4 feet or 6 feet, I don't know that that's going to work. But a foot?
His footprint isn't ready to
Well,
change this.
right. How much of a break would do it? Because I mean, I think we have to keep in mind that you're talking about something that's 30 feet back on the road behind heavy hedging, so and you don't really see it from this perspective, right?
We know the site, because we already approved it.
Right.
So we've all been there 100 times.
Where the driveway break is, what you're really going to see is sort of the east elevation more than the front.
It's going to do this. So it's called out. We said 4 feet at one point.
Right.
The biggest problem for doing that is the kitchen coming forward of everybody else.
Right.
The kitchen's driving the whole problem.
Well, the site is driving the problem because he's wedged between his zoning setbacks and the Concom setbacks. So cutting, it's not like you can just make up that space somewhere. And it's a fairly modest house for the area to begin with.
It is, but
So-
nobody, you just don't have a gambrel. It's not cut. It's not called
Right.
out.
So I guess the question is, if there was an apparent break by having a small, one of these masses pushed back a foot or so, would that do it?
Because
Because
1 foot pushback. That's not a standard pushback. And the pushback is 4 feet. I don't know if everybody else is comfortable with a 2-foot pushback. That kitchen is the problem, because he can do it very easily. If that kitchen was pulled back, that was what he was going to do.
Right, but when you cut 4 feet out of a kitchen, you don't have a kitchen left.
The interior is not our problem.
And I'm not suggesting it is, I'm just saying it's not an easy
I
solution.
know, but it's what's driving, from the beginning, it is what's driven the problem. If you've missed all the other meetings
Right.
we've had, that kitchen on the right bump out has been what has been the problem from the very beginning.
What if we just had a trim board on the gambrel to create a visual appearance?
Gambrel is a gambrel is a gambrel.
Right.
It needs a corner board, it needs to be self-built. Can you pull the gambrel forward?
Based on the zoning setback, I don't think we can.
All right, Diane, you know where the problem is. Everything else he's done.
I don't know what you think of a 2-foot. What's that going to look like? Is that going to make enough break?
No. Not really done on the form. See, he's dealing with the gambrel problem, it's a very peculiar kind of business.
If you go to the site plan,
See, the site plan's not right. All of this is on the same plane. And the site plan's not,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
oh, here it is, I got it. It is on the same plane, and that's the problem. He's got the cutback. What he had suggested at one point, which was better, is to get rid of this cut-in underneath the gambrel. See the walk down, what you do? He's
Right.
gonna bring that wall all the way across.
Right, I think that's what we did.
No, not yet. That was the last drawing I saw last night. This wall was going to be a wall. See,
on which,
you see where that, on the left side, under the gambrel?
on the north elevation?
Yeah, the gambrel wasn't gonna be cut in half. He was gonna bring that wall all the way across the
Yeah.
side door there. That looks better. But
Yes.
what you have is a 50-foot unbroken wall
Right.
with 2 different roof planes, which we don't do.
Well, but I understand
This
that
is
point.
the problem.
But I think that what he did do, he brought this point out and put the door there.
This was going all the way over to here.
Yeah.
Solid wall.
Right.
Not a cut. He didn't do that. This wall is set way far back. I have the drawing.
This comes all the way up.
This, what he's looking at, what I'm looking at is not that.
When I have,
What do you, is that
That's what I'm
marked
saying. He didn't have the
326?
porch,
you
yeah,
set
he didn't have
in.
time to put it in.
No, you're looking at the 312. There's a 326 drawing. This is not the current drawing.
Okay, these are the wrong ones, that's what I'm saying.
All righty then.
And he had changed it after this.
What? He didn't.
They're all dated February 18th.
Me?
That's what I'm saying, they didn't get in.
Yeah, they're all dated February
I've
18th,
seen
everything
it.
I have.
this
It was
was
still not
26.
this, he was working on this.
12th, February 12th, this is
March,
Where is he?
January, February, March 12th, that one is.
yeah, that's what, and all.
Is that the
all
current one?
This is the most current we have.
you've
I
seen
have
this.
February 18th and March
If he pulls it all the way out.
This is on the site plan, this shows, you still got room to pull it out and push that back. So this is all on one plan.
What if this?
Further back.
What if this pushed back?
No, he tried that, came in that first time, he said no. No being able to set that.
So how much does this have to get pushed
How much
back?
is everybody comfortable with the split, so it actually has a gambrel and an L? How comfortable are you with the distance?
Well,
3 feet?
if we could do 3 feet would be good. I think 4 feet is hard looking at their floor plan.
Which we're not supposed to do.
Well, I was trying to get the shape
I know.
of what we could do.
What?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that they were
There's
submitted.
still a problem with it. I talked to Ethan after that. We were still corresponding at 10 o'clock last night.
This is a plan that shows the gambrel pulled all the way flush out,
Plus 50 feet.
50 feet.
Can't do that. So
Well,
what we're looking for is to call out the gambrel, fix the height of the windows
that.
versus the returns.
And pull that out.
Or push it back,
Or push it in.
push the other side in.
Yeah.
So you get a break and a corner board or not corner board.
What do we? There might be a few inches. Maybe we can pull this out a little bit and push this in a little bit.
And get to 3 feet somewhere. And push out the back, Steve. You've got plenty of room to go out on that deck in the rear. They don't want to go back, that's the problem. We normally don't have kitchens on the road. They're pushed into the back. So their floor plan is driving the problem. But the design is fine. He did everything else. Do you want us to hold it until Tuesday? Because he couldn't get a hold of the owners.
Yes, but I think that 2 feet is going to be more successful, and I don't know that there's really an actual difference once this thing is built between 24 and 36 inches in that break. It's going to create enough of a visual break. It's got, especially if you use cottage corners, you don't, which is what I think you want. You're not going to have as much of a apparent break anyway. You know, it's really the corner board that makes it look different.
Well, you have a shadow line from the projection.
As
Right.
much as they can do, come forward, go back at the same time, see what you can get. He knows what he can get.
All right, I'll see where we can get on breaking that line.
Say, hold for revisions.
But I just want to make sure, the only issue is trying to break the line just to the left of the front door, and then the window return issue.
This,
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
yeah.
But
And then
ju-
it's okay if he carries the wall all the way across. That's what he needs to do
right,
on the left.
just those two issues.
And have the site plan correct.
And yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Diane's made a motion to hold for revisions. Is that all right, John? Till Tuesday? We're going to go ahead and bring this to Tuesday because we're just keep having the
Is it
issue.
Tuesday or 2 weeks?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Oh, that meant Tuesday, John. John,
I saw you.
that meant Tuesday.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So Diane's made a motion to hold over to Tuesday. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Abby? Great.
She's not on that one. She's not on it. It's just the three of you.
Is John?
There you are. I am? Okay, it's okay with me.
Okay.
Even better.
Let me go back over there. Oh, wait a minute, no. Sorry, you're right. Sorry.
So Abby's not on it?
No, she's not.
Okay.
I just forgot to take her. William
Alrighty.
McLaughlin Coombs with Phil Holgate recused.
Okay,
There we go.
All right, thank you.
Sorry about that.
58 Nobodere.
Do you want to go back to
Oh,
Blackfish?
yeah, Calhoun. Back to number 1, Calhoun. Dawn is here. There's Dawn, Abby, and myself. Is that where we are?
Yeah, that's all I have on my notes.
Representing the applicant?
We don't
Lisa
need
Botticelli?
Yes, there you go.
Only the ones that are sitting
he
on.
wants to see it.
Oh. Blackfish?
Bring something new and put them in.
I put them in there.
Okay.
They're in. And then I brought the GIS map just to talk about the visibility from the rear, that I don't think it exists. So what we did is we didn't bubble from last meeting. We bubbled including everything from last meeting. So we've reduced the size of the dormers on the front. We took out the 8 inches. We actually reduced the windows on the first floor of the side wing.
Where are we?
Right here.
We reduced those over here.
So those are the changes from the meeting on the north. On the east, we again reduced the D windows. We kept them larger in the master. So those were the only changes. On the back, we went to a shingled deck rail, but we kept the fenestration on the first floor because I think I don't think the first floor is visible from any place.
On the west, you went to the Ds also.
Yeah. Yep. So those were the changes.
Dawn? Abby?
I just, I think on that far right on the south elevation. Oh, I want to see
Did
that.
you see the GIS map? I just
can't
don't
see
think
it.
you're going to see it from any place if you look at the GIS map.
Fine.
And that's the, it's so far. Okay.
Dawn's made a motion to approve. All those in favor? John, you're not on it.
No.
It's only the three of us. It's only
I'll take your comment in case you, no.
you cannot comment on it.
Thank you.
Unanimous. Carrie?
Got it.
Now we're going to Sorensen. I think there's a different board on that one. I think it's John, myself, and Dawn, maybe?
Williams, Hill, Holgate, and McLaughlin.
John, it's you, me, and Dawn. Representing the applicant,
Matthew McEachern. Actually, this was the previous submission.
Can we take that
Yeah.
back then?
is this, no,
John, I'll take that back.
John, wrong one. John, coming at you.
So, wasn't a ton of time to make a lot of changes, but I think that the small gable roof off the back side of the building was problematic, and so we've omitted that and just gone with a simpler roof line, which I would submit to you that back roof line, the west elevation, if anything, was what's going to be visible. And I just remind you that this is the last house on the road. A lot of the paper roads around this property and the adjacent property have been sold or in the process of being sold. And so as far as visible from a public way, really the neighbor would be the one that would see it. You can actually, if you look at the GIS map, you can see that the corner of the property is really where the road essentially ends, because it just splits off into two driveways. And so I think that even if you could see this west elevation from a highly public way, it still wouldn't be inappropriate because of the scale and size of it. And again, it's a small little structure on the back of the property, and hopefully we simplified it enough.
Matt, you had one where they didn't have these stupid posts on the backside. Before this one,
And actually, this was what we had before this, where we did have those posts.
yeah.
Our concerns last time were seeing the outdoor showers
Mhm.
and having a lot of white trim on the roadside.
Mhm.
None of that. I mean, the gate. I appreciate the gable going away again. Because
Mhm.
that was not a successful change. But what I wanted to see was this whole wall go to a shingled wall.
And then have what, like
And
a...
have the doors to these shower changing rooms come in the sides, or even have a batten door into the shingle wall, and then have it more open on the sides. And so that eliminates these corner boards and these posts that have all the white trim facing that road.
I can try. I can do that. I mean, it's going to be a little. I think from the west elevation, it'll look normal, and just do a door, shower door where the.
No, you don't need the
On
shower.
the south and north, you
Yeah.
need the doors.
All right.
Or one door, whatever.
I need two. One to get in from each side.
Are you okay with everything else after that?
I'm fine with
It's
everything.
always been this elevation. That's
Yeah.
been a real problem. The other side is.
It's not visible.
facing the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
You're not,
stand
you're not going to, I mean, yeah, but you're not going to see that
Right.
side.
Got rid of the flat
This
screen
side-
for you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's coming back too.
I think I can sell that.
John, do you understand what John is saying? Instead of these things, goofy stuff,
So you
it'd just
don't
be a
see the
shingled
showers
wall,
And you don't see all that.
batten doors on each end instead.
North and south, right.
Yeah, batten door there and a batten door,
On the other side.
yeah, there. So it'd be regular walls. Is that okay?
Fine with it.
You want to try that through staff? This is, I want to see it again.
Yeah, I can do that.
You did in the front, right?
I can do that. I'll do that,
Did you send
Linda.
the extension? Till
Yes.
when?
Until 7/1,
Oh,
so
so
to lock in.
So if we
I'd
get
just
it,
like to see it.
if we get it nailed, what's the turnaround for the through staffs? Is it like a
When
week?
they're signed,
Okay. As long as I can try and get it
The
in.
next
Okay.
day.
Yeah,
All right.
but we have no staff, so you have
This
Right.
is our staff.
You're-
We have
Mark's out?
staff.
We have no staff to review.
Really?
So coming back next week makes
Okay.
more sense.
All right.
All right, now, one other question. The fence, what is that?
That's part of the. That's part of the.
You
Pool.
relocated the fence.
Yeah.
Is it still a stupid wire and privet?
I believe it is actually. It's an approved.
But closer to
Well,
the
that's
pool?
not part of this application.
No. I can actually revise the landscape.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
All right. Well, we
You have
like
to put the
problems.
fence out around it.
It's
We're
gotta
gonna have to
come
f-
to the front, where the, well, actually, it's got to come where the doors are, because you can't put it across this.
Mark Lombardi's the
Gotta tie in
landscape
something.
contractor and designer, and so we'll come up with a solution. I think
You've got to tie in on the inside of
the doors,
the doors.
almost a separation between where the shower doors access.
Yes.
Yeah.
So figure out how you want to do it, or it's got to go back where it was. So that's not, the landscaping is not part of this.
Motion to hold for revision.
Okay, till
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Well,
Coming in right now.
well, you just put it on the agenda for Tuesday.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. And it will be back, they'll bring it in with you again or give it to
Yep.
the staff. All right, John's made a motion to hold till Tuesday for revisions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Okay, cool. All righty.
Next two.
You get that, oh, no, here. Okay.
Madam Chair and Matt,
Yep.
Miraca came in and took off the outdoor shower
Right.
on the plan for you.
Excellent, thanks.
So are we just talking about the fenestration and not the hardscaping?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually,
Oh,
if
no.
I could, you asked, the only issue you had with the landscape was you wanted the outdoor shower omitted, and so she's just crossed it off the drawings, and you suggested that we track, you wouldn't approve the landscape, although you were fine with it, without approving the guest house.
Oh, all right.
So they're just tracking.
You want to see first?
Is Miraca gone again?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go and see the house first.
Okay, so here's.
But we need to know the board.
Shoot that.
Okay, the board.
So we do need approval for the
Garage,
spot.
yeah.
So who's
Williams,
the-
Boston Combs, they don't on camera.
So everybody but Brian. Okey dokey.
All right,
Matt?
so we did what the board had requested. We
Nothing's
changed.
circling, so I don't know what you changed.
No.
Oh, I got- what did I-
Actually,
what did I get?
there is no change. It's really just on the back. You had previously requested, we had the small 4 lights along the rear elevation, and you asked us to change those to double hungs, which we've done.
Okay. Abby, so
I
we
like
fold
it.
it up. Diane hasn't unlocked it yet. John, last page. Sort of. Diane? Okay? You know the property well. John, you okay with the Cs?
I have in front of me, I have a question. Do we approve the bead? This
We,
is awnings,
I could do them as
and there's
fixed.
9 of them.
what do you want to do with those?
There should only be, I'd say the gable end ones, John, I can easily fix, because I don't anticipate those being opened. But the ones on the first floor, they would be nice if they could be operable.
Diane, do you mind if they're awnings?
No.
John, Abby, do you mind if they're awnings?
No.
I think the ones in the gables should be fixed.
We can fix those, but I do think that the awnings are actually nice to, and they don't, Anderson doesn't make a hopper, John.
A motion to approve with
Make them
the,
drop one day.
to the second story, or?
Yeah, Abby made a motion to approve with the gable B windows fixed. Is that what it is?
Yes, and the first floor windows also,
Just a
the
B.
V.
Is that B as in boy or B as in?
B is in boy, gable,
First
there
floor,
are
B, the first floor windows, body windows.
the 4 gable B windows are fixed,
Okay, and the first floor,
or
are those dog or boiled?
as presented, with the
Okay.
awnings. Abby's made a motion, all those in favor?
Thank you.
Aye. Diane?
Yes.
John? Any opposed? John, where are you?
Nothing I can do about those in the future. I'm changing some of my thoughts starting next month.
Okay, what are you opposed or in favor or
Opposed this
opposed?
time.
Okay.
But I gotta rethink quite a few things.
All right, 3 to 1 in favor of that motion. Okay, what was that? Oh, we're doing landscaping now?
Yep.
You're doing landscaping.
Yeah. She's back. She
I know,
just
I
got
thought-
back.
Oh, sorry.
What was that?
What was that?
My telephone just made a terrible noise.
I haven't heard that one before. Diane, here it comes. I don't want to knock over your stuff. All right, who's sitting, same, is it the same people?
It is.
Should be.
Yes.
Okay, John, Diane, Abby, and myself. This is the hardscaping, John.
Yep, representing.
Explain it.
So you've looked at it previously, and I think your only concern was the freestanding outdoor shower, which has been marked as with an X, implying that it's not being applied for.
Oh, yeah, we couldn't approve it, if you guys remember, because we didn't have the cabana approved, so we had nothing to tie the fence or anything into. Abby, do you have any concerns?
So you're not going to have an outside shower?
Not there?
Eventually, we're going to ask for a shower, but it's probably going to be attached to the building, and we're just looking at the best options.
Diane?
I have no problem with it.
It's
Way
all
to
natural to weather, right?
pulled in the fence, it's good, thank you.
Everything's natural to weather?
Yeah.
All right, John, any concerns? All right, so somebody want to make a motion without the outdoor shower?
So moved.
Diane's made a motion without the outdoor shower. All those in favor?
Aye.
That was unanimous. Thank you. Okay, Brent Young. New biz. And we don't have a board on this, so who's sitting over there? Who's going to be sitting on that one? Oh, I kept thinking that Jason is over there. She's not over there, it's you.
It's new business.
Abby. All right, Brent, the only reason this wasn't on consent is because he wanted to put architecturals on here and not 3 tabs. It's a wood roof right now.
Yeah, when I was looking around, I have a partner who is not going to spring for another wood roof. So I don't want to go to asphalt, but I think it's my only alternative. And I think that the architectural looks more like the wooden roof I now have on there, particularly in the colored driftwood that I had. What's the bank's roof now, the new bank? Is that driftwood?
No, they got a little screwy. I've got driftwood,
You got driftwood, yeah.
which is my favorite color.
Well, I think it's more in keeping with the wooden roof look. Right now, mine's falling off, so I've got to replace it. We used the wrong nails in whenever we put it on, so now I'm paying for it.
John, he wants to put on architectural driftwood. Driftwood is an approved color, but the architectural versus 3 tab, which is the discussion because it is an historic structure. It is got a lot of wood
It's
paint.
part of the oldest houses in that end of town.
Part of it is, that's for sure. The first part.
The front part.
Yeah. Right there, yeah.
So that's why there was a discussion between architecturals and 3 tab.
I don't,
Diane?
I think it has to be 3 tab. It's a very visible building as you're coming up Orange Street. Your eye is drawn over there, and I don't think architecturals go on an antique house.
Abby?
I agree, I think it's black 3 tab.
Well, the black isn't really the issue. The type of shingle is the issue. He doesn't
Yeah,
want black.
I don't like the architectural shingle. And it's too bad it's not going to be wood, but I understand.
Well,
It's expensive.
if I could come up with $60,000 in the next few weeks.
Really?
$60,000?
Wow.
Yeah, I've got like 60 square on there, and fire code shingles now are like $400 a square.
She's not going to figure it out.
100 off? No, she's not going to agree to that. But
Hang on a
I
second.
just hate to look at the building with 3 tab, but that's what was on it when I bought it.
So we're going to driftwood 3 tabs?
You want to do just the old school, not the back section?
No, I'm going to do
The whole room,
I'm going to do the whole room.
Everything.
the whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking if you get architectures on there, the only thing that's authorized inside the old historic, you're just outside, is black.
Well,
It's the only
I-
one that's authorized there.
Hold on a second.
If I'm doing the black, that's up to you, because it'll all be the same if you come on again. That's the only way I think you can get it.
Would you go to black architectural?
Yeah, I would.
Dawn and John are okay with the black architecturals.
She's the only one she's approved, and he wants them.
Those wooden shingles are black now. Diane?
They're green, actually,
Yeah.
but
How do you guys feel about the black architecturals? Abby?
I don't like them.
All right. Diane?
No, I wouldn't, but you
Are
have
you,
it.
you guys are okay with the black architecturals? John's made a motion to approve with black architecturals. All those in favor? John? Favor?
We got our color.
Hold on, all those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that's Abby and Diane, I'll go in favor.
okay, thank you.
I love the listed architecturals, I have.
Has to be changed.
Yeah.
I've got much more structure than Surfside.
I've got an old house. That was my first problem. I shouldn't have bought a 1756 house.
Well, thank you, you've got it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Robinson.
Linda, you want to call?
You have to change the application to see you.
Yeah, I will. Okay. I was right there, the approval on here, the conditions.
You guys are very efficient, you know that.
Permits plus for the applicant.
That's so refreshing.
This is the one, this is one, the reason why it's on here, Mark, is I think I had a conversation with you about it. This doesn't go to consent because we never carry the shingle line down. We show where the first floor, top of foundation is, and we put lattice or vertical board. We never continue.
Oh, it was approved that way.
Yeah, and that's when it got even more, I said, I can't put that on consent. It shouldn't extend beyond what we already did.
Okay, let's talk about that because make sure I understand what.
He was approved, everybody, because I looked at the original approval. He was approved to bring the shingle course down over the top of the foundation, though the house is up
Correct.
a couple of feet. And I believe you have to bring the house up even further
We
now.
need 2 more courses of shingle
Right,
coursing.
and I didn't think lowering it 2 more courses made the bottom of that window and the bottom of the course look bizarre. So I thought it should be left where he had it just up, and you can carge it, or you can put the
We would parge it.
vertical board.
Yeah.
You have to have breakaway panels.
We have to have the breakaway panel,
So
so
what are
we
you going to
parge
do when you
it.
get to the breakaway panels? They're going to be parged breakaway panels?
No, there'll be those flood panels that you buy, precast flood panels that you buy.
So John? So don't change it's not changing the shingle pattern, right?
Okay, so we'll keep the shingle pattern up, so we'll revise the drawings and bring them in for staff approval. Is that what you'd like to see?
So not drop the shingles. 2 more courses. Hold on, we got to get a vote.
Okay.
John, do you understand what we're talking about?
Question, did you raise the building where you got from here?
Yes, the building needs to be raised. Just for some background information, while we were digging and demolishing the building and cleaning up to excavate for the site, we ran into an environmental issue with some oil that we thought might have been part of Al Silva's dealership across the way. That's not conclusive, but we're not anticipating having this building built before the flood FEMA rules change. And so we're anticipating a later build date, and we have to react to the change that's going to be in place from the insurance company. That will govern everything down there, not just us.
Yeah, last one is going to get it. The floodplains are changing in the middle of everybody's projects. All right, Joan, want to make a motion?
Motion to approve with the raise in the building, but no, having the shingles.
No additional shingle courses.
With parged foundation.
Thank you so much.
Dawn's made a motion to approve, everybody listening? Dawn's made a motion to approve the raise in the building, but not the extra shingle courses, and to parge the foundation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is that unanimous or with unanimous?
Approval through staff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bellamy?
Approval through chair because there's no staff. Yeah, but are they allowed
I know,
to
but I'm
review the
going,
plan?
yeah, and Andrew asked me to come in and
Sure
look
they
at all
could,
the
but
approvals
I
through
don't know
staff
if they
stuff,
forgot.
so you don't have to do that. Just let me know when they come in. So we don't have everybody- John? Oh, I need that. Representing the applicant?
Matthew McEachern.
Let the record reflect that, let the record reflect that Dawn is recusing from this. So it's just before us. Okay, Matt, roll.
Sure. So this is an application for a new dwelling. This is the last lot on Pilgrim Court. I don't know if you're familiar with the remaining the other structures, but it's all natural trim or gray, dark sash. And this is, like I said, the last structure. This lot is unique in that it's actually a corner lot again, and it's got some challenges in terms of scale, visibility, et cetera, et cetera. So we've spent actually quite a bit of time analyzing the site and gone through a number of iterations. The intent here was to keep it as a small, low, one-story structure. All the exposed rafter tails, that's a detail that's found out on all the other houses in the development. We did specifically try to stay away from full two-story elevation, if you will. We feel that the west elevation, one of the challenges with this structure is that it's one of the first structures you see when you come down Pilgrim Road. So we wanted the facade to face on Pilgrim Road, which we think it does. But then also equally important is the west elevation. And so we spent a lot of time in terms of how that west elevation is viewed, because we think that they're going to be viewed simultaneously. And again, we tried to keep the language very simple and straightforward. There are other 6/1s in the development. Again, all the rake details match the rest of the structures in the development. Like I said, we spent a lot of time on this, and hopefully you feel it's appropriate.
John?
I have one comment. Out of this structure, which I think is highly visible on all four sides, because the road going has been approved by the subdivision control law, makes it public. You have 24 double hung windows and 19 casements. And there's no common between a casement and a double hung. Make the whole building casement, make the whole building double hung.
Okay.
And in the dormers, if you eliminate them up there, you can put a double hung in there, so one single. I think it's, I don't want to, it makes it a very chaotic building the way it is. Thank you.
Abby?
I think it's a good design. I have a little bit of a problem with the dormers only, and I think...
They're not appropriate.
Well, let me just finish. I think the size of them, if these were casements, like double, what's it called?
Awning?
Ganged. If they were two, you would give it a cottage-style look, and I think it would make the dormers work. Two ganged ones that would make it look a little English cottage.
Okay.
It is your turn, Diane.
The west elevation, I don't know, how tall is the building?
The building is actually...
9.7?
Yeah. It's mostly roof.
Are the rest of them that tall?
Yes. No, but I can. Yeah, generally, the heights have been close to 30. And I would actually ironically submit to you that this one, we intended to drop that eave line. So your primary eave line is actually at that first floor elevation. And so we worked pretty hard to make sure that it didn't have a two-story appeal, or appearance, if you will.
I think if you're going to have those dormers up there, I think those windows in the dormers look too small for the size of the windows down below them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if, I don't mind them being crankouts or whatever, but they need to be bigger.
I don't disagree.
Hold on, there's a bigger problem with these dormers, I'll get to it.
Where are you going?
When I get to it. I'll go to John next. Are you done?
Yeah, that's,
Did
I
you like
think,
the overall hierarchy of the structure?
yeah, that goes smoothly. It's just those hit you in the
Yeah.
face sort of is not being, what should be there.
Thank you. John, did you already do?
Yeah.
Yes.
You already did.
I've got one other comment. The front porch here, 6 panel.
Okay.
Do away with that 2 panel.
Would,
Looks in the right style for the building.
would a 4-panel work, maybe, as an option?
4 panels.
Or a 4-panel, just to give an
All
option.
right, a couple of problems here. Just stuff moving around.
Mhm.
Hierarchy's okay. You can bang another 6 inches out of that first floor plate height and drop that roof another 6 inches, because it's a 10-foot, looks like it's measuring out of 10. So you can drop another 6 out of there. Those front dormers have to be reworked. They are actually creating a negative mass.
You're so astute that you caught that.
And you're going to have a window pan or a dormer pan or some weird thing going on. Back up the roof.
You see why we did it, though, right? We're trying to get more wall area on that dormer, and that was the one way to
But the
do
whole
it.
dormer can slide up the roof.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? And that way the face of the dormer can get
I
taller.
got you.
And
I
then
got
you can
you.
get maybe not the B windows in there, but you can get regular doubles.
I see what you're
in there.
saying.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The one on the left needs to be pulled off the ridge. I'm on the south elevation. The one on the left, no crank outs anywhere around here on the front. The one on the left needs to come off that ridge. It's banged up on the ridge.
Okay.
The center post needs to come out, so you have a 12, a 12, and a 12. It's overly busy, the way they're spaced, but you've got the main posts are 12, and the center is 12, so these center posts come out. I think it'll make it look much simpler.
What are you going to do?
Take the center out. So it's 12, 12, 12. They don't need that center post. It makes it look overly fancy. What's the color on this one?
White trim, black sash.
We just had one done. I forget where, and it really, it's like, oh my God.
The contrast, you mean?
Yes, it was just too much.
We could go, we talked about green sash.
Green sash.
We thought that the rest of them are the neutral tones, grays.
Graphics, it looks like black.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's just good.
There's the chrome, which is the more green.
Up in the subdivision, there's a lot of natural weather, a lot of cobblestone.
Yeah.
I would rather see something a little more muted. Even that cream color was better than white. The
Right.
Lancaster.
Okay.
But I wouldn't go to black. No.
Because it was the going into black and
the white.
it was,
That was
Jason
very
said the white and black hit you in the
huge
face.
contrast.
Which were blackfish? No. Okay.
Oh, at the end of Clifton Road, going towards
Oh my God.
going
You
towards
can't miss it.
Grinnell.
It stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. All right.
So
I think
something
actually
a little bit more tempered.
Peter and Christine are pretty flexible on that. So
Because theirs is all natural weather and cobblestone.
yeah. Okay.
So then deal with these casements.
Can I
On the
add one more thing?
second floor, yeah.
The chimney, I think, could be a little more countrified. It could be corbelled, or it
They
just
don't
looks a
corbel
little
them up that
odd.
high. The corbel is lower than that. When
You
it
wouldn't
comes out,
see
it
the
goes
corbel.
straight. But the top, you wouldn't see the corbel. The top looks simple. I don't know what it is, but it looks simple.
It's a
But
simple.
it could have a detail where it corbels in, or make some kind of banding or something to make it look a little more countrified.
We can. I think I can.
It's a very modern monolith. I think
Yeah.
that's what it's saying.
Yeah. With the cap, we need the
There's
detail.
something up there. I don't think any of the casements should be in the dormers, but with all the dormers now, in the back, they gotta come up, because they're running off that wall would bring that stuff back up to region.
I think we just have to raise the window header height, which I think is fine.
Yeah, just raise it.
Yep.
What do you do with those casements, because there are way too many casements.
Way.
Okay.
Hold for vision.
Hold on, John.
I have a comment. On the west elevation, looking into the building, you have a French door and a gated roof. If you go down and look at it from the north,
Yeah, you can.
west elevation, look at it from the north,
Right there, it's right there.
Yeah, to the north.
It's right there.
So that's
I
the
can see
new-
where it is. Just over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't see it.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually, yeah, you're right.
Where is it?
It's not, the pent roof is not shown on the west elevation technically.
Is it inset? Does it go
I
this
think
way?
it actually
or
might
does
be
it fly?
behind John. Can we go to the?
If you've got, what John is saying, if you've got an elevation we can't see, we need to see.
I can show a cutaway of that.
Yeah,
It's
we
basically
have
the
a
pent
cutaway.
roof. He's saying I want to see the pent roof.
Yeah, we don't have anything,
Is it missing in the drawing? That's my question.
we don't know what
It
it is.
actually is, John.
Yeah.
He's right because it is flush. You would see it on the west elevation.
We don't know what's going in the wall.
It's the pent roof's just not shown. So that's a mistake. We'll take care of that, John. Sorry.
But what I'm saying is this is the gable we're looking at from the west, right?
Right.
Around the north side. You're looking in this way.
Right,
This
that's
here-
flush.
This here is this.
Actually, this here is here, this edge. That one.
You want to go again.
And we need to see what's going on.
No, he's right. The pent roof is not
Yeah.
shown.
Can I ask you just one more question? On the north, that's going, it faces into the circle, right?
There's a house behind it.
And you're not going to see that from Pilgrim Road?
The north faces up towards the circle.
No.
You won't see that.
I just think there are a lot of little windows in that.
Yeah, he's gonna deal with that.
I think the configuration too. I'm not really convinced of the six light.
Happy with those.
If I can go to a double hung, that will be probably the way we'll go. But if I can fit them,
But everybody's okay with the massing, except for these flower changes and stuff?
Yeah.
Details, okay. Diane, want to make a motion to hold for
I
revision?
make the motion to hold for revision.
thank you very
All those
much.
in favor? And Matt, that's not Tuesday.
Right. Well, yeah, and this, the deadline's today at 4, so I don't think I'm going to get into that.
Yeah. So that is, everybody in favor of motion for revisions? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, Mark Norris. You coming back? Everybody sitting.
Hello,
Now, representing the applicant.
Mark Norris, self.
Your comments on that?
I was here.
You guys put it, we looked at it.
Oh, really? Oh, I was late. I waited for a little while.
We just let people come back today.
I have, these are all the same kind of, and then I have larger pictures here for the same sale. Those are all grouped, and then those are all the same, just larger.
We did allow you to put a retaining wall on the backside of the road.
That's right, I
So
did that.
this retaining wall along the road has already been approved.
And the retaining wall on the side, and the pathway. Everything's been approved except for the retaining wall at the front.
On the porch.
On the porch. And the reason that was done is because of the elevation change and being that there was a 10-foot drop from the road to the house. As we were building it, everything pretty much mudslided right towards the house, and I had to have some way to stop the water and stop everything from coming in. And so this was all built out of necessity. I didn't necessarily want to have that, and didn't feel the need at the very beginning. That wall, yes. Yeah. And so it was all, I mean, the first time we had, we have got a sewer pipe coming in there, that corner, so the first time it rained, everything went into, the basement right there from that corner, so I had to block that off. So it's basically about redirecting water from the left-hand side where the retaining wall is. Right now, the left-hand side of the driveway, there's about a 4-inch pitch to the right-hand side of the driveway, so all the water runs down and off to the right from the property. Plus, around that whole curved rock wall, there's drainage inside there with perforated pipe that it drains in there and then runs off as well. So if anything leaches down in there, it also runs it off and away from the house. So it's been a lot of keeping water away from, because everything comes down Vestal Street and wants to go in there as well, because it's just kind of the low spot.
Is this in the Bruce Fuller development?
No.
No, it's on Vestal Street.
This was owned by Ramus. It was part of a subdivision by a local family. It's up on Vestal. It backs up to it, but it's past it.
Yeah. On the two properties, there's about, to the back of the property, there's probably about 20 feet difference from the road to the back of the property. And so, and towards Hedgesbury even more, yeah. So, and the way everything goes, everything comes down, actually from the front of Estill comes this way, and all of Estill comes down this way. So we're pretty much having to take, trying to figure out where to put the water, and it all just basically runs down now and off, and I think Harry Murphy was in here a few weeks ago.
Is this the Murphy residence?
This is right beside it. He is 47, I'm 51, so he's coming right next to me, and we all part of the same group. Yeah, we know each other. I mean, as neighbors.
Share the same hedge.
If we share the same hedge, yes, exactly. And we're going to actually run. What we're talking about is running both properties kind of like this and running it, because he wants to build his like this, and I've kind of pitched mine this way just because it's natural. And have a little bit of a pitch going down and back, yes. Right along where the hedge is.
Anything else, Abby?
No, it just looks like a lot of hardscaping.
It is, yeah.
What's the stone wall look like?
I'd send it over there.
Those are bigger ones right there, yeah.
You gotta get through the
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go with gravel on that driveway. I didn't really want to spend the money for the brick, but everyone was spinning out. It was such a steep pitch.
Are you asking for the brick as well?
I mean, the brick it was approved as a driveway, so if I need to have, then I need to approve all that, yes.
Approving the brick.
Yeah.
You want to put brick driveways on that application plan also?
Yeah, everyone was spinning out, coming out of the driveway with
On the
gravel.
bottom should say brick.
Does it say on there? I think it does
So
say it on there.
you've got a cobblestone
The application.
Apron, yes, that's approved.
Hold on, everybody.
The application is for walkway, brick, stone wall along front of house. You want us to add brick, I'm not sure where the brick belongs here.
I guess it's brick driveway?
Brick driveways?
I guess a brick driveway.
And the walkway's brick also?
No, the walkway's already in there. I guess Mark circled the walkway because of the pattern, but it's bluestone pattern, which was approved, but I just, I don't think that should have anything to do with it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish you hadn't done all this already. I'm really sorry, because I have some pretty big concerns with it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the need for the retaining wall right here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm fine with that, but I don't think it's appropriate that it wraps the porch. I think that whole front piece shouldn't be there. It's not retaining anything, it's just sort of decoratively wrapping a very rural farmhouse porch. And there's way too much brick, and I never would have been okay with mixing Belgian block with brick. If we were going to go this direction, I would have either wanted to see the whole apron be in brick, or the apron be in like the more natural sandy colored cobblestones mixed with the brick that match the retaining wall. There's too many different materials here. I'm also seeing a bluestone cap on some of the wood retaining walls, which I'm wondering if that was approved.
No, it's a stone wall with the bluestone cap.
Yeah, we don't approve bluestone cap.
Yeah, there's a cap on top of the stone wall.
Wood that then meets with stone?
It's a wood retaining wall around the front, and it goes down on the sides. And then towards the back of the pool area, it's a bluestone cap on top of the.
There's another picture
Yeah.
of a retaining wall.
Is everybody more comfortable going to take a view of
This
this?
is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's a bluestone cap on top of that. Yeah, yeah.
There's a stone wall in between his wood walls?
There's a stone wall that comes out to there into the wood wall. The wood wall goes down to the bottom of the brick, and then it's a concrete wall, actually, because, see the elevation change from the left property, 53, there's about another 10 feet that goes in between there. So what I did is I have a stone wall, which was approved, but I made it a concrete wall instead of doing block, and so I poured a long concrete wall and put stone on top of it, and then instead of having concrete and stone between the two, I put a cap on top of it to blend the two together, and then I have a planting bed in between. Now, to the left side of 53 is also a wood retaining wall. So one's 5 feet and the other one's 5 feet, and then it drops to another 5 feet because there's stairs going down in the pool area to do the other 10 feet that I have. So it's all about taking all the water from 53
I don't have any
and
concerns with doing the retaining. I have a lot of concerns with the
Material, it's just,
Is it,
Because we never approved blue tone stone caps, and, I mean, any building. I'm just really sad that you did all this.
all right, let's clarify, did we have an original hardscaping plan approved?
Yes,
Or
and that's
what
for
I
the
think-
wall.
What I think
We need
may,
to compare.
we need to view it, come back next Tuesday. Is that comfortable with everybody?
With the original,
With the original hardscaping approval?
yeah,
It's even the pattern of the brick.
because this is
It's
much
really,
too
it's
complicated
really hard looking.
for this area.
This is way too formalized for this, I mean, this was supposed to go into a farmhouse. Yeah.
All right, so, John, do you have any more comments?
No,
All right, so is that your motion, Dawn?
I didn't make any.
No, Dawn.
Oh, God.
Motion to hold for a view with the previously approved landscape plan.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, it will come back next. We'll get the previous approval, unless you've got it by email. Do you still have it on whoever did the landscaping? That would be you. You had to send it in by CD.
Right, yeah, I think we've got it. You've got the, I mean, you got, obviously have the old plan, right? Is that what you're looking for?
Well, I'm asking, do you still have it on?
On a PDF?
Yes.
I'm sure I probably do.
Do you want to email it to Ann?
Okay, yeah.
Where do you want,
yeah.
are you able to get access the, whatever that site is that people send stuff to?
I can look for it on HDC submissions, Mark. I don't know if it was moved to a view pack previously, which will make it hard to find. I can also look in the file and see if I have it.
Okay.
But how long ago was it approved?
A year ago,
Okay,
January.
so it should
A
be-
year ago, January.
Yeah, it should be a while.
So we should be able to find it, if not,
Okay.
do it,
Call me and
Yeah.
I can send it or find it or something like that.
yep.
And then, and so I'm going back in for next Tuesdays as old business?
Yep.
Do I have to do anything else for that, or it just automatically goes into that?
It's just, we're just putting it there because we're going to view, so
Okay.
that views don't get re-signed up.
I got you.
This one.
Yeah.
This Tuesday at 5.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
See you later.
Alrighty. Ron Kaplan.
Swing the sash.
Yeah. What's happening?
We would, can I go?
Yeah.
So we'd like to replace the windows with a wood. It's a Boston sash wood, so it has the same profile, but it's actually got insulated, it's an insulated glass, it's insulated,
Single pane?
it's double pane. And it's all wood, and it's the same profile.
Well, Boston Sash puts these in a lot of places.
Yeah, and we're outside the OHD.
Except that you still have all the refrigerating windows on this thing.
The problem
Therein
is,
lies the problem.
we're having a very difficult time making the energy calc work, and there's some flexibility there, but then the owner, I mean, they're not in great shape. The window would look identical, it'd have the same profile, and I don't think it's wood, it's not going to clad or aluminum or anything like that. We did a pretty thorough survey, and it's tough to say. I think some of them are older than others. For example, I would say that 18, which is on this third page, is kind of a unique configuration. Now, I don't know if that was just a snap out or snap in. I mean, we could go, unit by unit, which is what we've done, but some are obviously. Well, that's the other challenge, is that we do have some new windows in there. So, if you want to go check it out, look at the property. It is something that we would like to do. And again, the owner, we were able to find a replacement that I think that would look. It looks identical. It's a Boston sash. And I can maybe even get you a sample of the window, but you've seen them. They actually make a pretty good.
Is it a grill or is it?
Yeah, it's applied wood grill, and it's the same thing. It's got the
I
same.
think I've seen it. It's like a double glaze and then it's applied grill.
Yeah, it's got a spacer bar, and then it's got the wood grill on the inside. It's actually
But this is
Outside
right down
grill.
on Hulbert where you get whacked.
you get smashed, and that's what the owner's biggest concern is. I mean, it's
All right,
something.
I might as well start with you, because you're already going.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, the survey form has listed this as a contributing structure built in 1900.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
Do we have any remarks from Hashab?
These look like they-
Yeah.
So you would replace these with wood?
Yes.
And what about this 22? Are you going to divide that up?
Currently, the approval we have is for a single pane, but I could talk to the owner about adding some, some divisions there, because that was a later.
Just thinking maybe we could clean some of those things up.
Sure.
Let's get to the bigger issue of replacing all these two-letter-like original windows with something else.
Hi.
Where you were going?
Well, I was just asking a question. I'd like to see what the board has to say before I make a decision.
Dawn?
It would be okay to do this, given that they're going to be all wood windows.
No storms.
But I would really like to see as part of it, 21 obviously replaced with something wood, because those were replaced at some point with a vinyl clad window, and 22 replaced as a divided picture window instead of what's in there now.
Well, it's going to be its top sash because it's a horizontal window, not a vertical. It's going to be one of these, an 8-light probably, that top sash 8-light.
Where's that? Yeah. What number is that?
22. All right. Diane?
I'd like to see a more detailed, the windows are all labeled and everything, but this is a 1900 house and it doesn't say whether these are in good condition or not.
You can add more detail.
And I think we need to know than just categorically remove every window from a 1900 house. I mean, we all live in the historic district, and we all live with windows that the air comes through. I know, I do.
Last 2 days.
My house is 1800, but it's, to take a house of this size and this age and just replace all the windows is not something that I can just approve.
Okay, thank you. John?
Yes, I think what is, I don't think I know in my mind that on the front page, number 2, approved south elevation, that this used to be the old Sawyer house, with those 3 casement style windows on the front ought to be changed to something else, because it doesn't give any credence to the rest of the windows in the house, which are harmonious to itself and double hung, other than the kitchen window.
Right.
And number 21 is the 6 lights on the what's the dormer up there?
Sorry, John, what was that last one? What number?
21. You got
Right.
the 6 light.
Yeah.
All right, on the north elevation, you got 6 lights up there.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, it should be made double hung, 3 over 3s to match all the rest of them that are double hung. And the south elevation, I would do something with that, those casements up there. I think they don't conform to the rest of the
I
house.
was going to agree. Like, I think the glass size we can make more appropriate to the rest of the historic windows.
I have more of a philosophical issue.
Mm-hmm.
You've been up to probably the BBRS or wherever you got to go more often than everybody else has.
Yep.
So you have a lot of experience with going up there on variances. And I know only in the last month or so, this energy thing has become a much more of a bigger issue for historic structures. It wasn't. We were getting around it for quite some time with exemptions and everything else. But I understand the building department is taking a different tack now in the middle of projects. And you've already been in here and gotten the project approved for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, if you took this up to the BBRS to get around the energy code, it's got an historical structure exemption.
if that's a question, I could probably pursue, there are certain avenues that we could pursue that may, work. But I would submit to you that the owner, just thinking long-term, is a long-term investment for him. He wants the house to be here for the next 100 years, and he actually does a lot of building himself. And his primary concern is, there is the energy code compliant portion of it, but then they're also just getting smashed in that location. And when we did the research and found out that we are outside the OHD, this is what he wants to pursue. So
I know, but it's not necessarily the fact that you're outside. We've got another one coming back Tuesday for the same thing. It's not necessarily that you're outside the OHD. You have a highly contributing structure.
Sure.
And the ones that, as you know, remain fairly intact.
Yep.
Now you're making some adjustments to it. That has original true divided. I assume they all have the pulleys.
Yeah.
True divided
Not all of them.
windows. Some do. I know some have been added.
Well,
Clearly.
And we can add some more detail to Diane's point because they're not all consistent. I mean, I think the other thing to point out, too, is that from an exterior perspective, they will be wood, and they will be in the same configuration, with the exception of the ones that were added at a later date. I mean, clearly...
They're all cased the same, so they're all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the east elevation, you'll see that has the highest percentage of original windows, and that, in my opinion, has the most successful composition in terms of, glazing, glass size proportion.
But it's also the side that's getting beat the hell out of with
Yep.
this,
Which is the north side?
I'd say the east elevation, in terms of, you can clearly identify which ones were added at a later date, and the glass size is larger and not,
window has a different casing.
yeah, it's like different trim details, and we're trying to basically,
All right, the other alternative is to replace them with true divided light windows and put storms over them. Is that meeting the energy code? It meets the impact, but does it meet the energy code?
we can actually make the impact, there's the DP rating, and we can make those work either way, true divided or insulated. The insulation value is the primary thing. And then I would also submit to you, if you go with a wood window, you need a storm. Now, we could maybe get away with wood storms.
I think he'd put wood storms on his north side anyway, but you can also put the interior storm windows.
Wood storms are going to blow off.
All right, one at a time. John can't follow. One at a time, guys. I've got the floor at the moment. But that's my concern, is a whole scale. I love that window.
Yep.
But it's a whole scale replacement of primarily original windows, true divided light windows, which the sashes don't look so bad. I'm sure they leak like a sieve.
There are storms now.
Yeah.
Triple track storms.
And I can't stand those aluminum triple track storms. But I have seen the single
You can get
wood,
custom storms
and
made.
I have seen the interior panels.
Interior low E panel will help you with your insulation value.
Right.
The exterior storm is primarily to protect the wood
Right.
muntin from abuse. Now, you're obviously protecting that with another wood storm, but they do make them, and those actually do look nice. And there is historic precedent. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're like 6 over 6 over 6 over 6. It's actually kind of a nice look. I could actually talk to him about that to see if that's something to be interested in doing as well.
But am I the only one here that, besides Diane, that's concerned about the whole scale replacement with a double glazed window that's not true divided light on this structure? A later structure, we got one coming in with 1947. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
She just doesn't want to pay for those windows.
This is
an issue.
It's on the cusp. It's 1900, but
But they were all built between 1880 and 1920, all the whole strip.
let me, if I
And
could.
you know the precedent that would be.
Yes, and that's another sort
That
of
you have to argue.
every single one.
You were given it, why shouldn't I? And then the whole strip is gone.
The one thing I would actually say that you could actually, an appropriate response to that would be is that you are, outside the core districts, because I think you can hold strong and fast to that. And then in terms of, that's a big one in my opinion. That's a huge, point, is that you're outside the core district.
But Matt, we have historic structures that are not downtown or in Wisconsin.
Right.
And we have to look at the structure itself,
Mhm.
whether it's inside the old historic district where 90% of them are, or outside.
Right, if it's
We have to look at the house, we have to look at the
Individually.
design, individually significant, things like that.
That is
Which this is.
It is. Now, that's one point. The second point is that this is right on the water, and that's really, honestly, if it wasn't for that fact, I think that the owner would be, we wouldn't be requesting this. It's really about the proximity to the water, the amount of damage that the windows are going to take over time, and it also may be an opportunity to improve it. kind of right some of these wrongs that were done after the fact.
See what you can do.
Yeah, let me look. I have some research to do.
I just had a thought that if you just replace the water side and not the front, but whereas you're driving by Hulbert, it might resolve some of your the rating, and it would give you more strength in the windows if you just did the water side and then did the old-fashioned way on the front on Hulbert.
I still think the wood storms are needed then.
I'll look at the wood storms.
You're right. Virginia,
not to buy
outside
the
the old
storms.
Stark area, yes it is. But remember, the state law says we cannot make any decision where something is incongruous and not keeping with the immediate surrounding area, which you usually consider 300 to 500 feet. So that's another thing.
I'll definitely keep that in mind. All right.
I know.
It's older, but it's 1900s, and I think that it's going to look better not having triple tracks on it.
Yeah, I can't stand those ones.
Yeah.
This is outside the core. It's 1900. It's not 1800.
Well, you can see if there's other options.
I'm going to provide more detail as Diane
Yeah.
requested, and then also look at some of the light configurations where we can actually make some improvements, I think. And then I'll look into the wood storms.
So Dawn,
Well, they are in these areas. You actually.
this one has it.
Getting so changed.
Looks the whole from the reading and the view.
John, he doesn't have time to put the revisions in by 4 o'clock today, and he wants to come back up again on Tuesday. So I'd rather, he knows what he has to do, John.
And bring it up Tuesday.
Yeah, all right, so just bring it with
Bring
you.
it Tuesday.
John's made a motion to view and bring it up and put it over to Tuesday.
And revisions, right?
But he's going to bring the revisions with him.
You're up.
Matt, you're bringing this stuff with you, so it's not being held up to view.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay, John's made a motion to view and bring it back up on Tuesday. Any changes are going to be brought to the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that was unanimous.
I apologize for the back chatter.
Did you say you were good?
Yes, sure.
Oh, she's over there. All right, background.
So-
This is the shack, John, your favorite place to go eat. This is the shack.
This is the shack.
We already approved something in the past. Most people don't. This is what we approved. It's very narrow and very small. That's what we approved. And it is, John, in violation of the 1.5 to 1. This is now wider and much more proportional than this thing.
And we've actually done more than what you have in front of you since we submitted those as well. That's what this is.
Is that what we're going to do?
No,
You should get 4 copies of that.
I have them in the car.
This is what's been changed since then. They've made some further improvements. For the weekend, I rather.
Yes.
This is what they're proposing.
That's replacing this one?
Yeah, explain it.
So we've enclosed the front area to make it wider. We've made
So that the access to the public is no longer in the front.
it's facing the bike path, not facing coming from town. The windows are bigger. Handicap ramp is gone. We're going to come back with a landscape plan, which will have brick paths that go from the parking to and from the bike path down to the front area.
You've already approved the brick, but you're revising it.
You approved a prior landscape plan that we're revising. We've tried to include every detail that you would ask for, the hood at the back, rear roof plane. Upstairs will just be a studio and a bath. We've got, I think that's everything. Trash enclosures on there, bulkheads on there.
Don? Abby?
I'm okay with it too.
Which elevation's going to face the bike path?
Where you see the door in the window in that elevation, in this elevation we've got double doors.
On the east elevation?
Is that the east one?
Okay.
It's being, Diane, it's canted to the bike path now. They're demolishing and straightening it out to the bike path.
Right.
They already got a demo permit for it.
This looks similar to the one in Scotland we approved many years ago.
The bathroom?
Ronnie DeSilva built it.
Is that the bathroom?
Yeah.
They went,
The bathroom building?
no, that's going down, this is going down, almost to, I can't do it, the last street on the right to get to the.
Scully
club.
Road?
Yeah, we had a problem up there, and we built the same thing, very narrow, we got it approved, and it looks like a lunch pail up on its end. That's what I find wrong, especially where it is. Yeah, everybody in
Oh, back it up, back it up, back it up.
I find it, 1.5 in the width.
Well, with this, we've gone wider here, so we've accommodated more than the 1.5.
They fixed it on this one.
Are people going to go in to get this stuff, or is it going to be just a window?
You go in, those double doors.
Oh, it's the
front double doors
the
will
lunch
be
counter
open.
is recessed.
Yes.
Correct. I got it.
There'll be a place to stand inside the door.
So then
Similar to like the Walters area where you step in and get your sandwiches.
The question is, you're talking about this one, or you're talking about that one?
They're very similar. All we did was put double doors
You
instead
want
of
this one or that one?
This one.
It's got different doors, John. Dawn's made a motion to approve Exhibit A, and they'll submit full drawings to staff. Full drawings to staff.
Hope you realize what you're doing.
Well, it's better than what we already approved. They can still build that one.
Thank you.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Okay.
Dawn's made a motion to approve with submission of Exhibit A with full submissions through staff. Correct? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
John is opposed. And you opposed the last one, John, so it was consistent. But 4 in favor and 1 opposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Motion to hold, well, we don't need to do that. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
No.
John?
What about? Meeting protocol?
Well, I was going to wait for David. I was going to wait for David and Jason to that.
David won't be here, but.
He'll be here Tuesday.
Yeah, it's his last meeting.
Whatever
Is that
he
it?
says
No, he's got 2
won't take
meetings.
effect.
It's the 15th.
Oh.
I think voting is the 15th.
Whatever he says won't take effect, he's gone after next week.
No, the voting is 2 more meetings.
Right.
2 meetings.
All right.
Probably 4 meetings.
But we weren't going to make it Tuesday. I've been 4 months trying to get this stuff in front of him. I'll let you speak on it today. You can give one to David later. He's already got a copy.
Yeah, I shipped it over to him. He's got one.
All right. If I may, in it,
Here you go.
I thought this over for a long time about the way the meetings were run. And I think that it could save us a lot of time. Well, everybody's opinion to come in on this place. Everybody got one?
Yeah, I gave it to him a long time ago.
No, got
Take
him?
another
No,
one.
I don't have one.
I gave it to you a couple of months ago.
Two down to the staff. One
You want me to, John wants me to email it. I think I should email it to everybody. I'll retype it and email it.
all right, so everybody's looking at it. Everybody got a copy, even
Yep.
staff? You can go on. I believe strongly in the Robert's Rules of Order, which the town voted to go by. Meetings be run by the chairperson. I agree, 100%. There'll be a civil attitude at all times. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. There'll be no interruptions allowed during the meeting if somebody has the floor. Everyone will get their chance to speak. First will be staff comments, because we already know what they want to do. Second will be commissioners' comments. Third, the applicant's response to the commission's comments, one-on-one if they want to. Fourth, call for the motion. Fifth, call for the votes. Chairperson will vote last after others vote. Do not be repetitious, be brief, speak only on issues pertaining to application. I think that something like this would expedite matters a heck of a lot better than what we're doing.
The only thing you're missing is the applicant's presentation is actually first.
No.
Applicant's presentation is
Generally.
first. After staff is first.
Right. Generally, my only comment on that was that the reason I see it happening is because automatic before you win, you go one-on-one with them.
Yeah.
And the chair,
That's gotta
you or
stop.
whoever it is, to say, look, we're going to go strictly by this. They have the floor until they get through talking, as long as they don't beat it to death. Not like some of the applicants do.
John.
I'd like to see it all back.
it goes first staff comments, then applicant comments, and then board comments. You forgot the applicants.
I think there has to
No,
be an
no,
opportunity.
I kept it up for that reason.
No, they have to make a presentation. Under the law, they make the presentation.
Let me finish. Okay, I'm not arguing, I'm just fun discussion.
There should be no back and forth
The
during
back and forth.
But they're then, when they're done with their presentation.
And interrupt.
We should have an opportunity to raise our hands and ask a question if we
Yeah.
don't understand something, so that we can then make our comments.
No, fine, you can make a presentation, short presentation, you know? They drag it on because they know how each other stink. You know, and you know a couple of people that sit there and they don't care about other people waiting. Well, I get complaints from the public, everybody knows it. I get complaints from people that don't even come here.
But we gotta add the applicants are bound by law.
I have no problem with that, but, you know, I'd like to take this up to a vote after town meeting.
Well, it's not really a vote, John, it's mostly, it's protocol, it's not a vote.
Yeah,
You
but we're
don't-
gonna stick to it.
Yeah, that, you cannot vote on protocol like that.
I'm talking about procedure.
Yeah, you cannot vote on that, because at times, the only way to get something worked out is if we have a casual conversation. That's going to be allowed when it's necessary. It's not necessary every single time, you're right. There is too much back and forth on that. All the time.
I was going to say, poor guy.
You're much guilty for it. You and I both. I'm saying you and I are much guilty
Okay,
about
well,
it.
motion to adjourn.
Against each other.
Thank you very much, John. Dawn's made a motion to adjourn.
Still want to continue a little
Well,
bit.
she just made the motion to adjourn.
Well, it doesn't mean you
And
gotta
she's
take it
already
right now.
going.
I
She's
think we
going.
can discuss
Hold the
it.
motion.
She's got the jacket on.
Hold the motion. Okay.
All right, so there's no motion then. There's no motion. Hold which motion?
No, hold the motion to adjourn. We
They're
haven't voted.
leaving.
Huh?
They're leaving.
We haven't voted for it yet. I was making a quick comment, all right? All right? That I think that,
She
you know,
said.
I am going to try after the town meeting to try to hold back my temper, keep my mouth shut. I'm going to make some changes in my thinking in the old historic and get to the modern area. But I like this meeting itself. If you, whoever the chair is, they tighten down. And they're not, it's themselves, interrupt what we're talking about. Chair has only so much power. And that's it.
Motion, Dawn made a motion on the way out the door. Do you want to make the motion now?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Diane's making the motion on the way out the
Take care,
door.
Diane.
Diane's made a motion to adjourn. All those in
Diane.
favor?
Vote
Aye.
Diane. Diane.
All right, Terry, we're off. Good timing. I thought we'd be out earlier. And Diane said she was going to have you come at 2:45. So that's exactly what we had.
Time I get stuck behind the school buses on the bullshit to get here.
I will vote motion. I don't
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Why
glad
don't
you
you
worry
go to
about
Bartlett
me.
and go right?
I need
Why do you
that.
go to
I got
Bartlett
the
and
penny
go
for me
left?
now, but I can handle
Go
it.
right down and then go down Hoover Farm Road and cut up. Nobody goes that way during school. And
Madam Chair,
And-
are you going to the office?
Yeah.
There's another box that needs to be carted over if you don't mind.